The Czech capital of Prague merits at least a few days of dedicated sightseeing. Pounding the cobblestones, though, particularly in the hot summer sun, can zap anyone's enthusiasm, and the crowds can be intense in high season. There's nothing like a day trip to take in some fresh air and recharge your batteries. Several castles, an important Holocaust site, and even a bone church lie within an hour or so of the capital. Here's some inspiration for a fantastic day tour from Prague. 1. Kutná Hora. Pay a visit to the Sedlík ossuary, the bone church, the creepiest site in Central Europe. Kutná Hora grew wealthy in the 14th and 15th centuries as the center of silver mining for the Bohemian kingdom. Don a miner's helmet and work clothes and tour the old silver mines, and then pay homage to the glorious Gothic Cathedral of St. Barbara, which was dedicated to the miners. The Bone Church of the Czech Republic finds some of the most macabre art in the world at the Sedlík ossuary, including a chandelier containing at least one of every bone in the human body. Once you've had your fill of medieval finery, take a peek inside the Gulish ossuary to see chapels, crosses, chalices and monstrances all carved from the bones of thousands of plague and war victims over the centuries. There are a couple of decent pizza places on the main square. For something more substantial, try Pivnice Desíky, which has a wide selection of local beers. Central Kavárna na Kozom Placu is great for coffee. How to get to Kutná Hora. It's about 65 kilometers east of Prague and the drive takes under an hour. Buses leave hourly throughout the day from Prague's Hajj station on Metro Line C, Red. Direct trains depart from Prague's main station. 2. Karlsten. The main event here is Karlsten Castle, a gleaming 14th century castle perched in the middle of the countryside, which traces its roots all the way back to 1348 and the reign of Prague's own Holy Roman Emperor Charles IV. The building was conceived as a hiding place for the Bohemian crown jewels in times of war. Entry is by guided tour, and before setting out be sure to reserve a tour time in advance by phone or email. After you've toured the castle, or merely gawked at the turrets, meander through Karlsten village, which is packed with pubs, or take a longer hike through the surrounding woods. Restauraci pod Dračí skalu is situated away from Karlsten's crowded main street and offers good Czech food, grilled meats and Pilsner Urquell beer on tap. How to get to Karlsten. The 30 km drive from Prague takes about 30 minutes along the D5 motorway, following the signs to Plzeň. Regular trains depart from Prague's main station to Karlsten, in the direction of Beroun. 3. Terezín or Theresienstadt, was home to Nazi Germany's most notorious concentration camp on Czech soil. It wasn't a mass extermination camp, like Auschwitz-Birkenau in Poland, but more a holding center for Jews and other Holocaust victims before they could be sent onward to their deaths. That said, conditions were atrocious and many thousands perished from hunger and disease. The main ghetto museum is spread out over several buildings, and the permanent exhibitions explore both the daily lives of the prisoners of the Terezín ghetto and how the Nazis used Terezín as a showcase camp to deceive the International Red Cross that their intentions with respect to Jewish prisoners were benign. Bring along a packed lunch, as Terezín is short on decent restaurants. Centrally located Restauraci Atypic is average at best but will do in a pinch. How to get to Terezín. 60 km north of Prague and the drive takes under an hour. Buses from Prague to the town of Litoměřice normally stop at Terezín. These depart from near the Praha Holešovice metro station on Line C, Red. 4. Konopiste Chateau. Tour Konopiste Chateau, the impressive residence of Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand d'Este, one of the most fateful figures of the 20th century. It offers insights into how the very wealthy lived in the early years of the 20th century and the tragic life of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austrian throne. By all accounts, the Archduke hated court life in Vienna and chose instead to spend his days in the Bohemian countryside, along with his Czech wife Sophie. Guided tours take you through the family rooms as well as show off the Archduke's twin obsessions, hunting and the cult of St. George. The chateau gardens, with their forest paths and ponds, make for a restful respite. Just down the hill from the castle, the Stará Myslivna features old-fashioned Czech cooking and, true to the Archduke's passion for hunting, lots of game dishes on the menu. How to get to Konopiste Chateau. Drivers follow the D1 motorway south from Prague to Benisov u Prahy, the closest town to Konopiste. Buses to Benisov run throughout the day from both Prague's Rozhtoly and Budějovica stations on Metro Line C, Red. Trains travel from Prague's main station to Benisov. 5. The Pilsner Urquell Brewery, Plzeň for lovers of beer. A tour of the Pilsner Urquell Brewery, the birthplace of modern lager, is an absolute must. The drink is considered the gold standard for beer in a country with some very stiff competition. The guided 70-minute brewery tour is Plzeň's biggest attraction, but the town's brewery museum is also worth a look in, as are the city's extensive underground tunnels, which were used for both beer production and defense. You can book everything ahead of time online over the brewery website. Plzeň is the second biggest city, after Prague, in the province of Bohemia and has some great museums and restaurants. It's well worth an overnight stay. In keeping with the beer theme, go for some excellent pub grub and wash it down with local beer. Na Spilche is situated on the brewery grounds, tours end conveniently at the restaurant's door. Na Parkanu is another popular pub, situated next to the brewery museum. How to get to Plzeň? The city is easily accessible from Prague by car, bus or train. The drive is a straight shot southwest along the D5 motorway. Buses run every half hour from Prague's Zlíčan metro station, on Line B, yellow. Trains depart from Prague's main station. 6. Český Krumlov. Český Krumlov is like Prague in miniature and is one of the most picturesque towns in Europe. You can walk from one side of town to the other in 20 minutes, taking in the striking Renaissance state castle, stunning architecture and, in high season, bustling crowds of tourists. There are plenty of lively bars and riverside picnic spots, but it has a certain magic in winter too when the streets are almost empty. At a 2-hour drive, it's just about doable as a day trip from Prague if you're short on time, but our recommendation is to make it a weekend trip instead. There are beautiful woods and fields in the surrounding area that are perfect for hiking and biking. If you only have time for one meal, head to Krikma Výsadlavské. While it is touristy, the grilled meats served up in this medieval barbecue cellar are excellent. How to get to Český Krumlov? By car, the journey takes just over 2 hours via the D3 motorway, cutting onto Route 3 after Veselí nad Lužnicí. Regular buses leave the Na Nejzečí bus station and take 2 hours and 50 minutes.